Alright, this video is called I replayed the old Assassin's Creed games. Were they really that good? Also, the answer is yes. Yes, they are. Anyways,
The classic ACs are overrated. This is a
no. They're just objectively better games. I'm sorry, like... Assassin's Creed 3... Okay, since I didn't play the first... What was there, 2 or 3 games before Assassin's Creed 3? I didn't play the original games. I'm going to. I just purchased some of them. I'm going to play them. But I grew up with Assassin's Creed 3, and then over the last few years I've played some of the other old games with the old combat system, and they are just better than the newer ones. I don't know what to say about it.
Comment I've seen a lot, and as much as it triggers me deep down, after all these years, were they really as amazing as we remember? Or are we genuinely blinded by nostalgia? So I decided to find out by revisiting the classics both you and I loved most. And yeah, it was pretty interesting to say the least. So this is where it all started for a lot of us. Assassin's Creed 2 wasn't just a sequel, it was a total game changer. It took the simple formula of the first game and it built a masterpiece right on top of it. And I remember being completely blown away by
I can't wait to play this game. This extension thing is annoying as shit. Why does it keep coming up and not going away until I click on it?
vibrant world, the charismatic new hero, and how much better it was compared to the first. But playing it again today, in a time of loads of open world games and super refined controls...
Nah, I can't wait to play these original games. Like I said, I still haven't played them. I'm getting around to it. I promise. I'm going in timeline order right now. That's probably not the best way to do it, but that's the way I'm doing it.
You a whole new perspective. The parkour, which felt so freeing back in 2009, now feels a little bit stiff. Ezio has a certain weight to him, but he always seems to magnetically be attracted to every single damn ledge, whether you want him to grab it or not. And the controls can feel very clunky, and there are times where the camera feels like it's actively trying to fight you, which was the same for a lot of games around this time period. And this can easily be forgotten.
I love the... This is a side note. I love the jank and the shitness of all of the old games. Like, all just old video games. They always have shit cameras. Like, shit camera systems.
However, the combat
absolutely
really
horrible, but it's charming.
This is the absolute definition of the wait and counter system, where you just stand there in the middle of a dozen guards and wait for them to attack, press the counter button, and then repeat until everyone's dead. But despite being 16 years old, the animation...
I miss this combat system. That's why I still play the old games, bro. And that's why I'm still, like... Until recently, when I decided to start over and do it in timeline order, I've always liked the old system better than the new one.
just look as brutal as I remember. But the one thing that surprised me most is the story. Ezio is without a doubt one of AC's greatest protagonists, and we see his entire journey from a cocky, carefree young nobleman to a master assassin driven by revenge. And his arc is incredible, and his charm is off the charts. Even now, it shocks me how engaging it feels compared to boring assholes like Basim, who's literally as interesting as the back of your boiler. Although sadly, the repetitive tale...
Is that guy in Mirage or something? I don't even know who that is. Who is that?
Drop and follow missions do show their ugly ass head, and it's easy to forget just how samey these truly were. They get old very...
Why was the horse running like that?
And it's easy to forget just how samey these truly were. They get old very quick. But to my surprise, a decade later, Italy still feels more than just a background, and it's a character in its own right, and sometimes helps you forget the 69th tail mission you're on. Exploring Florence and Venice is still an absolute pleasure, and the music. This is one of the few songs in this series I'll gladly bust out moves to. I'm no Hans Zimmer, but the emotion this song makes you feel is like no other. Is Assassin's Creed 2 overrated? Its story, characters, and world are every bit as brilliant as we remember, and the combat is still a beauty to witness. And yeah, the movement and mission design does feel slightly dated now, but it remains a foundational game that tells one of the best stories in the franchise, and there is absolutely no way AC2 could ever be regarded as overrated. So if Assassin's Creed 2 built an incredible base, Brotherhood must take things to the next level surely. While releasing just a year after AC2, the speed at which Ubisoft delivered it is kind of amazing, and I didn't really play this a massive amount back in the day, which does make things even more interesting. The biggest change is the setting. Instead of jumping between cities, Brotherhood puts all its focus on Rome. This makes for a much denser, more interconnected and more alive world. And Rome feels like a living and breathing place, and freeing the city district by district, renovating shops and watching your influence spread is actually really enjoyable. Although,
wait, that sounds fire. I gotta play this game.
What the hell? Issues seen in AC2, like snapping to the wrong ledge and the lack of dedicated parkour up and down controls, it does get kind of frustrating again. The gameplay is very similar to AC2, but there are some notable changes. The kill streak mechanic completely changes combat from feeling like a patient waiting game, and works really damn well even now. And the addition of dual wield weapons is just as fun as I remember. But the real game changer is the Brotherhood itself. Being able to call in recruits to help by launching arrows, or just joining you in a fight adds a brilliant layer to every single encounter, despite it feeling a bit bare bones compared to games today. But how does the story hold up? This one continues Ezio's journey, shifting from a personal story of revenge to a bigger fight against the Borgia family. And it might not have the same emotional punch as AC2's origin story, but it's strong and well paced, and it really shows Ezio growing into a leader and a legend. But yes, I do prefer the story of AC2, but this one is no slouch. Again, its main quests and side content do suffer from the same repetitive mission structure seen in AC2, which isn't ideal.
What do you want for Christmas? I have no idea, to be honest. Hey, actually, I need new speakers for my car, but that's about it. What about you?
Brotherhood overrated. A lot of fans call this the peak of the entire series, and although it's not my favourite, I can see why. Playing it again definitely made me appreciate it even more. It's the classic AC formula done incredibly well, and the gameplay and missions still have some flaws, but they did get some.
How much are they? I'll be honest, I have no idea. I haven't looked it up. I just realized last night that one of my speakers busted, so I have a single speaker left in my car because I have 4 speakers, but 3 of them have busted, so I'm gonna have to get them replaced.
Notable improvements, and the
but I don't
story
know how
is
much
a
they are yet.
fantastic second act to one of AC's best characters, and for that reason, it's definitely not overrated. But sadly, every great story must end, and for Ezio, that end was Revelations, and this game had a heavy weight on its shoulders, as it had to deliver a satisfying conclusion not just for Ezio, but for the original hero Altair too. And I remember Revelations feeling a little tired and a bit more of the same. I've always struggled to understand why some love this game so much, and replaying it again did make me realise a few things. And by the way, if you do want to play these legendary games for yourself, or perhaps even the recent AC games, do not pay stupid prices.
Bro, I just bought the adjustable dumbbells. They're actually tough. Nah, I want to get those too. I think I'm gonna save up my YouTube paycheck. You know, when I can actually cash it out. Because I'm at $25 out of 100. I want to save it for either those or new speakers for my car. We'll see though.
like a knobhead. I use Instant Gaming to grab my game keys, and it's way cheaper than Steam and the PlayStation and Xbox store. You literally get your games instantly, no messing about, and it works straight away. I've been using them for years, and it's fast, easy, and it saves you getting royally done over. Whether you're grabbing Shadows, Syndicate, or any other AC, just click the link down below in the description, and you will save some cash, and it also helps out the channel too. So the gameplay loop is pretty much the same as Brotherhood. You're still liberating districts and fixing up the city, but this time in Constantinople. Christ, that was butchered. The big new toys this time were the hook blade and bomb crafting, and the hook blade did make climbing a little faster, and it does add zip line.
Buy them on eBay. I paid 250 for them, and they go up to 40 kg. That's not too bad.
Lines, which is pretty cool, but it doesn't really improve the same clunky parkour issues we've discussed about 40 times already. And by this point, awkwardly bumping into NPCs was starting to seriously piss me off. It completely interrupts any badass moment you intend to have. However, parkour does feel...
It does make you less badass. Yeah. I'll admit, he lost a lot of aura when he stumbled over a random person.
It interrupts any badass moment you intend to have. However, parkour does feel faster compared to previous games, which is good at least. And ziplining whilst giving enemies a royal twatting looks pretty cool for a game this old. And the new bomb crafting system is deep, complex, and honestly kind of dull. It's a powerful tool if you want to get into it, but it feels more like an optional extra than the core part of the game, as it's not really rewarding whatsoever, and few missions actually require it. Where Revelations really shows its age and a bit of franchise fatigue is in its structure. The dreaded Den Defense minigame, a tower defense mode where you'd fight off Templars, is pretty much universally hated, and I now remember why I hated its guts. My feelings on this have not changed one bit, and this has to be one of the worst mechanics they've added, and it feels completely disconnected from the gameplay. I also feel like at this point, combat as a whole...
That is extremely random. What the hell were they thinking when they made that a thing that you have to do in the game?
Really needed something...
I don't know if that's a mission or if that's like a side game mode. I don't think he said, but if that's a mission, that sucks.
Innovation. It's not bad, but if you played the games before it or replaying it now, this is where things really started to feel dull and in need of improvement. But the story is where Revelations really delivers. Although it does feel a bit slow and expedition heavy, it's a sad and reflective journey for an older, wiser Ezio who's looking for answers. And the way the game weaves playable key moments from Altair's life is masterfully done. And it connects the two legendary assassins across centuries and ends up as a powerful, quiet scene that gives both characters the perfect send-off. And I feel like it's an ending that respects their...
I'm just still waiting for them to make another Assassin's Creed movie, bro. Because, like, if I remember correctly, the movie was pretty good.
Legacy
that they did make
hit pretty hard, especially if you have been playing the series.
Also, the books have been good. The books were good back in the day. I don't know if they've made more than a few, but the ones that I read were good.
The start, and I really do like the story. So is Revelations overrated? In recent years, I've seen more and more comments saying how amazing this game is. And to me,
it seems like yes, it is overrated, probably.
It's easily the weakest of the Ezio trilogy. The mechanics were starting to feel stale, but its storytelling and emotional payoff is still undeniable. It's a game that's less about new ideas and more about giving a heartfelt farewell to a legend. But to me, it just doesn't live up to the recent praise, and in no way is it a bad game, but for me, this one is overrated. So after closing the book on Ezio, Ubisoft had to go big, as the series really needed a fresh air of breath at this point. Assassin's Creed 3 was a massive risk. A new hero, a new continent, a new time period, and a brand new game engine. And I remember the hype was through the roof, but the final game was kind of divisive. Some think it's the best in the series, while others...
Enoch, I'm sorry you have to be here and watch me give praise about a game as me playing as a Native American person killing a bunch of redcoats, but it's just a good game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So,
Absolutely hated it, and replaying it again was a real eye-opener. The new engine brought a totally new parkour system designed for running through the American frontier, and it does feel far more refined than previous games, and weaving through trees and over rocks was a cool idea, but in practice it still lacks precision and feels even more reliant on automation. Combat is very controversial. Some say it's the best in the series, while others think it's very mid. But for me, the variety of weapons is amazing, and the animations look even more brutal and satisfying. Playing it again feels like a big step up compared to games we've already spoken about, and I honestly think the combat is kind of slept on. But what does hold it back is the continuation of guards taking turns to attack you. However, the mission design is where things really start to take a turn. AC3 is famous for being super linear, with very strict objectives and instant fail moments that punish you for trying to be creative, and you have to do things.
well, I feel like the way that the combat was set up, the guards have to take turns attacking you. Otherwise, they would have to give you way more freedom of movement like they do in the newer games. Which is the whole reason that I don't like the newer games as much. Is because I like the restricted movement and the... Like, you don't get much choice in different attack styles. You get to just press a button to counter and then press button to attack. Like, I like that. It gives my stupid caveman brain the ability to just turn my brain off and just beat the shit out of people. It's great. I love it. And I wish they never did away with it. Or I wish in the newer games that they would give you the option to use the old combat style.
Exactly how the game tells you to, which can lead to some glory holes in your walls. This is something that feels incredibly dated, especially with how open missions feel in AC today. But on the flip side, this game did introduce one of the best mechanics AC has ever gotten, the naval combat. And although it does feel bare bones to play now, this would become a massive highlight for the franchise. But then there's our new protagonist, and oh boy, here's where some people are going to want to kick my kneecaps off. Connor is nowhere near as interesting or as witty as Ezio. He's serious, quiet, and often angry, driven by his village's destruction and the fight for his people's freedom. And I can relate to why some people...
Well, like, I don't get people's complaint about Connor. What, do you want him to be happy all the time? I don't get it. All his people were murdered. He's a Native American, and he was forced to live as half American, half Native. He didn't want to, he didn't want to be brought up that way. And, he still gets treated like shit because he looks Native American. And his people were all killed by the people that are, literally colonizing their area. What do you want him to be? Happy? He's not gonna be happy. Why would he be happy? All these horrible things are happening in his life. Why the fuck would he be happy about any of this?
Find him bland, but I just find him harder to care for due to his lack of charisma. And this certainly isn't helped by how painfully long it takes to get your assassin robes, and how...
Yeah, and the fact that you have to play as Haytham for the first, fourth of the game.
Slow and stale the pacing is in general. The treatment of Desmond has also not aged well. I just feel like it could have been done so much better. Is Assassin's Creed...
Haytham can't even climb trees or swim in water. Bro's a bitch.
3 overrated. People either love it or they hate it. And I do praise the ambition, but it tried to rush and push the series forward in a dozen different ways, all at once whilst kind of stumbling at it. AC3 is not overrated, mainly because it was never really rated that highly to begin with. So what the hell do you do after a divisive game like AC3? Well, you take its single new best feature, the naval combat,
and make it the whole next game.
Whole game.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is often known as the best game in the series, but does it really live up to these claims, or has it...
So far, from what I've played, not really. Not really. The only reason why is I don't really enjoy... Yeah. See, this said it perfectly. It's still basically the best pirate game ever made. It's a pirate game. It's not that much of an Assassin's Creed game because you're on the boat for over half the game. And I don't really enjoy the naval combat that as much as I do just killing people in these games.
Become overrated over the years?
It's cool to dock with a ship and then take it over. Like, that's cool, but the fact that you can't just drive that boat away as well, why wouldn't you be able to do that? And have your crew on your other ship follow you? That would have been so fucking cool. You could just end up making a whole, like, band of pirate ships just by stealing other people's ships. That would have been so awesome. But they didn't do that.
Caribbean
That would have been so much more fun.
Sea is massive, gorgeous, and feels like a dynamic open world begging you to explore it. Sailing your ship, the Jackdaw.
And I understand why they didn't do that. Because this game is so old and the limitations probably wouldn't allow for something like that. But I just wish that's what they did. I don't know.
Crew sing sea shanties is an experience that still feels special today, and the gameplay loop is just so addictive. You sail, you spot a ship, you get into a naval battle, you board, and then you steal all of their stuff, so you can upgrade your own ship, or you can just batter bellends. It is one of the most satisfying loops Ubisoft have ever created, and it makes Skull and Bones look absolute concentrated dog water. Although, I will admit, with how big the map is, this does make the countless islands feel kind of copy and paste at times. The on-foot assassin stuff is still all here, and it is a more refined version of what AC3 gave us. Parkour feels a little smoother with more buildings to climb, and combat is still very fun. But in honesty, the pirate aspect just elevates the gameplay altogether and injects new life into a series that was on the verge of becoming stale, as boarding ships just never seems to get old. However, stealth sections, especially the God to hell follow this guy missions, do hinder things slightly and do become tedious, and the dreaded mission patterns we've repeated more times than an old bastard are still here and they still suck. But again,
Yep.
The pirate theme's dominance just distracts you from all of it. But then we get to our new assassin, Edward Kenway, and he is a complete game changer. He's not some dedicated assassin or diehard Templar, but he's a charismatic, selfish pirate who just wants to get rich. His journey from greedy to a man who finally understands the creed is one of the best written character arcs in the whole series. And unlike Connor, he's incredibly likable, and although controversial, I actually think I like him more than Ezio. The story is lighter and more adventurous than the others, filled with famous pirates like Blackbeard, and it's just a shame how Eddie's arc does feel a little rushed towards the end. Is Black Flag overrated? With how much praise it gets so many years later, it's easy for someone to assume this. However, even playing it now, I still think it lives up to the constant praise, and it's one of the very few AC titles I still play today, and the overwhelming hype for a remake pretty much says everything you need to know. This game is not overrated. And now we've reached the most controversial and supposedly overhyped game of the series, the first true next-gen Assassin's Creed, the game that promised to revolutionize the series with rebuilt parkour, revamped combat, and a world more detailed
Unity.
than anything we'd ever seen. And I'm sure you remember the disastrous launch, which was a storm of bugs and glitches that
Bro, I
saved...
hate the fact that nobody talks about Freedom Cry or Liberty. Or, I mean, Liberation. Why? They're still games. I get that they're basically side content for the original, or for the game that they came out alongside, but they're still full entire games, basically.
its reputation, but its controversial...
Especially Liberation. Bro, that game took me like 5 streams to get through.
controversial rise as one of the best AC games in the series puts it in serious danger of it being overrated. First, there is no doubt that Paris is breathtaking, and even by today's standards, the scale, detail, and sheer beauty of revolutionary Paris is kind of mind-blowing. The density of the crowds, the detailed interiors of places like the Notre Dame is insane, and out of all the AC locations, this one feels the most alive because of it. But the noticeable pop-ins often go under the radar and really aren't ideal. The parkour system is for many the absolute peak of the series. The new parkour up and down mechanics give you so much more control over your movement, letting you flow down buildings in a way that was impossible in earlier games. And I still stand by my opinion that this has the best parkour in the series. The animation, speed, and control is light years ahead.
And I don't know why they didn't keep this system for the newer games. Such missed potential, because this is fantastic, the way that this game is built. And then they didn't use any of it in the game immediately after it.
We have now and what we've had before. The combat and stealth also finally got a complete overhaul. Combat is slower and much harder, and you can't just counter kill your way through an army anymore, like you've been able to do many times before. Animations are even more brutal, and someone tell me how future games look somehow worse. Like honestly, what in the hell is going on there? Stealth got a dedicated crouch button and a bigger focus on using cover and tools, and the deep character customization and co-op missions.
Yeah, he's right about the brutalness of the kills. Bro, one time I stabbed the guy's dick off to kill him. That's how I killed him. I stabbed his dick off. His dick got stabbed off. Like, I sliced his just wiener off. Isn't that crazy? There's a clip too. I don't know how long it would take me to fucking find this video. My channel. Shorts. Popular. Fuck, where is it? This is from Unity. Did you see him fall and scream on the way down? Wait, where is this? Where the fuck? Oh, popular. What the fuck? How did it do that? Oh, here it is. Bro, I just stabbed him in the dick. That's how he died. That's how he died. That's crazy.
Really ambitious, that works really damn well, but the story is where things start to change.
Wait, I want that.
Just that works really damn well, but the story.
Bro, what is he wearing here? I want that.
Story is where things start to change.
You saw the
Arnu is a
bullshit
fun
my character was wearing,
protagonist,
right?
but his Romeo and Juliet love story.
Carrying around a trident to kill people with? Bro, my character was killing people with a trident from fucking Poseidon, bro.
Often gets in the way of a much more interesting French Revolution happening in the background. The plot just feels kind of generic and doesn't really leave much of an impression, especially compared to the Ezio trilogy or even Black Flag. Arnu just doesn't hook you in like the others, and the story kind of struggles to make you care as much as you did before, and this does let the game down. And even with all the patches, the game can still be a bit shoddy, but it is so much better compared to launch. Is Unity
Why did his hood go up like that?
A bit shoddy, but it is so much better compared to launch. Is Unity overrated? This is kind of difficult. For years, it was underrated, written off because of its terrible launch. But now, the pendulum has kind of swung back, with a lot of people overhyping it a bit too much. The truth is somewhere in the middle. Unity is a beautiful, ambitious game with the best movement and animations in the franchise, and it's a glimpse essence of what a truly modern classic AC could have been, but its weak story and lingering technical issues can't really be ignored. For me, the incredible gameplay and impressive visuals do make it way more appealing to play when compared to older releases we've already talked about. It's a flawed masterpiece that I absolutely love and don't find overrated. But here is the ultimate question. We've now explored whether the iconic classics a lot of us love to death are individually as good as we remembered, but are they truly better than the games we have now? Or is nostalgia just blinding us? This is something that needs to be fully explored in a video of its own, but let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section. I would love to know what you think, and of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive
I
and want to
don't
see more
know.
like this, make sure to like the video
I'm
and subscribe.
still not
and to
much
see
of a fan of the new combat system, bro. I just can't get over it. But, like, let me know what you think. Because Here, wait. Before we leave, go subscribe to bro. The video is going to be linked in the description. But yeah, my final thoughts is I'm not as much of a fan of the new combat system. It's a little janky. I do like the old press button do thing way of doing things back in the day. I'll probably eventually get over it, but it's just my preference. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and use the hype feature if you can. I'll see you later.